The largest military expedition ever sent to Antarctica wasn't launched during the Cold War's peak tensions, nor was it a scientific mission first and foremost. It was Operation Highjump, officially the United States Navy Antarctic Developments Program of 1946 to 1947, and it involved 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and over 4,700 men. But the scale of the operation often obscures a more complex truth. The mission was a hastily assembled, somewhat confused exercise in polar power projection that achieved only mixed results, yet inadvertently laid crucial groundwork for future scientific exploration. The man publicly associated with the mission was Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, the legendary polar explorer. However, by 1946, Byrd was a figurehead. He had never fully recovered from his harrowing solo winter at a remote weather station in 1934, and the Navy, not Byrd, was calling the shots. The operation was a product of its time. With the Cold War dawning, the Pentagon was intensely focused on the Arctic as a potential battleground with the Soviet Union. Operation Highjump was a way to transfer those lessons to the Antarctic, where the conditions were similar, all while establishing a U.S. presence on a continent that was strategically valuable and geopolitically contested. The task force was divided into 3 main groups, each with a specific sector to map and explore. The central group established the base, Little America 4, carving runways out of the ice shelf. They even flew 6 or 4D transport planes, Navy versions of the DC-3, from the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Philippine Sea to the base, using Hotto bottles for assistance. Meanwhile, the eastern and western groups operated from seaplane tenders, launching Martin PBM-5 Mariner flying boats on reconnaissance missions. The mission was a massive logistical undertaking, but it was also a test, a single-season trial to see if the Navy could sustain large-scale operations in the world's most hostile environment. The results were a mixed bag. While personnel gained invaluable experience and the Navy successfully tested ships, equipment, and icebreakers, the mission had notable failures. A submarine included in the fleet proved largely unsuitable for Antarctic waters. Perhaps most critically, the vast aerial mapping effort failed to produce usable maps because the photogrammetry lacked ground control points to anchor the images. The operation, however, was not without its human cost. On December 30, 1946, a PBM Mariner flying boat named George I crashed during a blizzard on Thurston Island, killing 3 crew members. Another man, Seaman Vance N. Woodall, died in a separate unloading accident on January 21, 1947. Despite these setbacks, the expedition's legacy endures, not in the realm of military strategy, but in the annals of science. The knowledge gained about navigation, logistics, and the continent's geography proved essential. It was this data that scientists used years later when planning the stations for the International Geophysical Year, which marked a new era of cooperative research in Antarctica. Operation Highjump was a curious hybrid, a military operation with a scientific facade, born of early Cold War anxiety and the ambition of a nation wanting to plant its flag on the last great unexplored continent. It was perhaps the largest benign invasion in history. And while its primary military objectives were left unfulfilled, it served as the essential, if unwitting, prologue to the scientific age of exploration in Antarctica. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper. Operation Highjump, while ostensibly a military venture, was fueled by the urgency of the times, an unease about emerging powers, and the compelling drive to claim a remote, forbidding landscape. As the ships gathered their supplies and personnel, the salty breeze of the ocean intermingled with the crisp cold of the approaching ice, foreshadowing the struggles that lay ahead. As Rear Admiral Byrd adjusted his cap against the biting winds and surveyed the scene, it became evident to him that beneath the bluster of military pride, this expedition would challenge the limits of human endurance. The fleet, a towering testament to military scale, comprised a diversity of vessels bristling with equipment and eager personnel, all bustling with activity as they prepared for their monumental journey. Each crew member understood their mission was not just about achieving glory, but about mastering the unforgiving elements of Antarctica, where temperatures plunged and winds howled mercilessly across the icy expanse. The command structure, largely dictated by naval officers rather than Byrd, overlooked the harsh realities of the upcoming challenges, crafting a naive sense of confidence that clouded their judgment even as they ventured deeper into the frigid unknown.